Each week, nearly a dozen movies are released theatrically. 40 films a month, more than 400 a year. That's a plethora of cinema. Too much cinema. You'd have to be an addict to see all that, but don't fret. We've got you covered. This is CinemAddicts.
Oh, welcome to CinemAddicts, episode 162. I am Anderson Cowan. I blather about films here and there. That's Greg Srisavasdi. He's a broadcast. No, he's not. He's a Critics' Choice Award recipient.
CCA, buddy, or CCR, CCD.
And hey, we're coming to you live on tape from two different locations. We're supposed to be in person today, holding hands in the Cold Cockle Studios. However, I got the sniffles, so Greg is at his place. I am at my location, and we are going to be talking about the last 2 weeks of October, the haunting.
Anderson, do you take medication when you're under the weather, like maybe Robitussin or pills, or is it just more holistic?
I try not to. I try not to take it because somewhere, you know how you hear something and then forever it's like in your head and then you try and adhere to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Somewhere along the line. I think I had like a biology teacher in 10th grade or something, and they suggested that if you take that stuff, it slows everything down and you stay sick for longer because your body's not able to do what it needs to do. It just sets aside the symptoms. I don't know if that's true, but yeah, last night I pabbed out and had some sleepy time medication just because I could not get to sleep because it's just a cold, man. It's just a cold. Everyone gets them. I'm more pabby than others, and I get very, very grumpy when I have a cold.
Oh wow! Has it been a while since you've had a cold?
Probably about a year.
Okay.
I was starting to feel it, and I took a bunch of emergency like last month and subsided and went away. This time the emergency is just not doing it. And, but I've taken the test. It's not the old COVID over there, and I don't have a fever. Oh, when I have a fever, I would not be sitting here with you. When you get a fever, Greg, does your whole body hurt and does your skin feel like it's missing its top layer?
Chills. The only time I have the skin missing its top layers is when I have to do that illegal stuff with the opposite gender. That's when
they strip you. It's like BDSM style.
Yes.
No, I got this thing, and my wife doesn't understand it at all, and she really gives me the business when I'm really, really sick, and I guess it's fever related. But like I feel like the entire top layer of my skin, it's painful to the touch. Like I have open wounds all over my body. That's how painful and awful like fevers are to me for whatever reason. And I know that I'm not the only one. I've talked to other people who have that sensation as well, and it makes it that much more grueling. Anyways, that's not the point of this program.
One more thing before we get into movies, Anderson. 20-second thing. Have you ever awakened, just random thing, and you couldn't move, and you wake, your eyes are open?
Never had that sleep paralysis. Never had that.
That is, you know what? Scary. It's like an M. Night movie. Very scary. It happened.
M. Night movies are scary because you have to like endure the twist. That's scary for me.
Right. Yes, exactly.
We have 20 hours in our life, and I'm spending 2 of them watching
yes.
set up some pins to knock down Unsatisfactory.
In fairness, we're talking about movies. In fairness, sometimes I do listen to TFV, and you did actually give M. Night respect. Do you remember how much you gave M. Night respect several months ago? You were praising Lady in the Water.
I like that Lady in the Water. I do. I think it's an underappreciated movie. But yeah. Greg, I got some movies that I've talked about that I've seen. I have not talked about. Maybe I have. I've got some movies that I saw not too long ago since I talked to you last, and I got a couple movies to highlight in the last 2 weeks of October here. How about you?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. Yeah, there's maybe a couple movies that I kind of liked, I guess, maybe, or I just forget. I forget. I'm looking at Google Docs. Yeah, I'm trying to remember movies that I've seen. What are some of the movies that you really enjoyed? Oh, you know what? I can tell you something. Do you like Korean films? Korean action films, action thrillers, Korean scary movies, bloody movies?
I like Korean movies, Greg. I don't like to categorize my movies. I just like movies that are solid. You know what I mean?
Okay. But I'm talking about movies like, I remember years ago you were telling me to watch that movie. What is that movie, that Korean film? Not The Host. There was another movie, Old Boy. You told me years ago.
It's classic, Gregor. Spike Lee even liked it so much that he decided to bastardize it.
Well, I like that movie, and you gave me the business 6 years ago because the actual original is amazing.
Are you talking about Decision to Leave right now?
No, not Decision to Leave. Have you seen that?
No, I've been sitting on that. The 2 hours and 20 minutes with Tar, which is Todd Field's new movie, which is 2 hours and 38 minutes. It's a barrier to entry right there. I'm going to be honest with you. Barrier to entry, Greg.
So wait, you're not actually going to go to our local theaters here in Los Angeles to maybe take 3 hours off to see Tar? Maybe
no,
in
I
Century
will
City.
see Tar. I mean, Tar is going to be up for awards for sure, and I'm gonna watch it. I love Todd Fields. I mean, the last movie he made was 2006, Little Children, and before that, it was In the Bedroom with Nick Stahl.
And you have a great connection with him with Eyes Wide Shut, right?
He's got the Kubrick connection, yeah. So I mean, he took over. Whose job was it that he? No, was it?
Right. Yeah. No. And then he talked about Todd Fields.
Sidney Pollack took. Sidney Pollack took. I think Harvey. Sidney Pollack filled in for who was it?
Sidney Pollack filled in for someone
Bad
for
Lieutenant.
Harvey Keitel, yeah, of course, for Eyes Wide Shut, yeah.
Kubrick, I don't know what he didn't like what Harvey was laying down, so he replaced him with his buddy, the filmmaker Sidney Pollack.
If Stanley saw something in Todd Field, obviously you're going to have a big connection. So I'm sure you're excited to see Tar whenever you get to see it.
Yes, I'm sure that it's a fine film. He's got to be in the right mindset to spend 2 hours and 38 minutes with a conductor who's losing her mind.
Right. So hopefully we're going to be talking about our minds, down the road in this episode. But let me tell you something, Anderson. What is the bloodiest film you've ever seen in your life?
Off the top. I totally derailed. You were talking Old Boy. You were talking Korean action movies.
No, but I'm going back on the track. I like the derailing thing. But look, what's the bloodiest film you've ever seen? You're probably thinking The Wild Bunch, but is that so bloody? Can you think of a movie that maybe that should be a top 5 bloodiest movies ever on TFV? But it might be an idea. But
interesting, Greg. It's not a terrible, bloodiest movie ever.
Right? There's a movie called Project Wolf Hunting. It came out a couple of weeks ago.
I heard you guys talking about it. There's no hunting. There's no wolves.
There's no wolves. There's no hunting. It's sort of like Con Air meets a.
Is there a project?
It's a project. It's called Project Wolf. Yeah, Project Wolf Hunting is the name of the movie.
That'd be very misleading. If there's no wolf hunting, no wolves, and no project, I mean, what are you doing here? It's like Naked Lunch. You know what I mean?
It's like Naked Lunch, a Burroughs film. No, it's set aboard some kind of cargo freighter ship. There's a bunch of Korean convicts, criminals, who are going to be transported from the Philippines to Korea. Somewhere in the middle, the convicts get a couple of keys there. They unlock the handcuffs and they're free, and they're free to kill all the other officers on board. So you think it's just going to be good guy versus bad guy kind of situation. There is a really interesting twist that happens midway through Project Wolf Hunting, and it becomes a bloodbath of epic proportions. There's a ton of blood just spewing all over, lots of violence. If any of the listeners here don't like too much violence, then this is a big barrier to entry. But if you don't mind a lot of blood, Project Wolf Hunting is probably right off the dome is my favorite action film this year. Project Wolf Hunting, 5 stars for me. Yeah, love it.
Favorite film of the year?
Yeah, one of my favorites of the year. It's a top 5. It's not going to be anyone else's, but it's a top 10 for me. 5-star movie, Project Wolf Hunting.
Why is it going to be anybody else's, Greg? Why do you have such?
I don't know. Because maybe people aren't as sociopathic and like to see blood spurting all over. It's
love the blood.
And one more thing before we get to the movies that you that you saw last couple of weeks. What I love about Project Wolf Hunting, without giving too much away, there are people that you think you're going to follow throughout the movie, but you don't. You really don't. They end up in a bad place. So you have no idea. There's no center in the movie. There are different people you follow, and then fate becomes them. So
audience is left off balance, Greg.
Yes, I love it. I love everything about the movie. Hopefully, you are excited about some other movies you've seen the last several weeks, almost as good as Project Wolf Hunting. What are some of those movies, Anderson?
All right, I've not given this one a proper review, and that's not what we're going to do here because that's not the nature of this here program, Greg. But I have recently seen a new movie, Spanish film, shot in Spain, with the main language being Spanish, Greg. And that movie is called Piggy. Speaking of bloodlust and the slippery, lots of blood. I mean, look at the poster of Piggy. It's a very large, rotund woman standing in the middle of a street covered in blood. That is Piggy. At least that's what her peers call her. She's a teenage girl, and she is picked on mercilessly for being heavyset, and she works at the butcher shop with her parents who own the butcher shop. So there's 3 of them: mom, dad, and herself. And she is in this small little town filled with very cruel, mean peers, as I said, who are very mean to her. And there's a bull on the loose, Greg, from the bull run, right, in Spain. And the bull's on the loose. It's out there somewhere. That's kind of on the backdrop, news stories. Here's what else is on the loose: a killer. So there's a madman out there who cannot be trusted with human life because he likes to take it. And he sees what's happening with Piggy, and he takes a shine to her, and a very unlikely meetup or team up occurs. and there is some satisfaction. There's some twists, there's some turns. I like this Piggy.
Anderson, I am very frustrated right now because I am looking at my
Here we
Google,
go.
my Gmail.
There's a link months ago.
There are 10 unopened emails. It's written and directed by Carlotta Pereda, and you mentioned a plot line that I thought was absolutely amazing. Does it pay off on many levels? It's a very strong film. Would you highly recommend this movie? Wow.
I don't highly recommend it, but it's a fun watch. I don't think it's going to be on my top 10 at the end of the year, but it's satisfying and it's unique. And the people that are going to like this thing are really, really going to like this thing. And, you know, it goes into bullying. And the director, she was, and writer, director, I read that she wrote it to kind of show or try to illustrate just how horrific it can be to be a teenage girl, period, let alone a very, very overweight teenage girl and what that's like. And I think that she nailed it. I liked the first 2 acts quite a bit. The third act was very horror and thriller and slasher. And I didn't need all that, but that will sustain a lot of people who like that kind of thing, such as yourself. So I think I could see you 5-starring Piggy, Gregor.
Really? Okay.
I mean,
and
it's
Anderson,
either 4
I'm
or 5,
guessing
right? I'm flipping a coin here.
Oh, Anderson, I'm guessing you might have 3.5, 4 or 5. Oh, okay, how dare you? I'm always a 4-star guy, but I would say you would be a 3.5 out of 5 on this, maybe.
Yeah, 3.5. I would say 3.5.
Okay,
definitely 3.5.
What about our betters, Eric Holmes and Bruce Purkey? What stars would they give this one?
I think they're both going to give it 4 stars, Greg.
Okay, okay, very good, Anderson. Piggy, I can't believe did Brian see this too? Wow.
No, he will be seeing it this week. I signed it to him. Yeah, I signed it to him.
All right, Piggy. That sounds like a great choice. Thank you.
I also saw not only The Criminal, which people have been talking about for a while. It's very, very good. And I still got to see Barbarian. I keep hearing. I just haven't been able to get to the theater to see that old Barbarian. But two more movies just to mention real quick. Greg, I have another foreign film called Speak No Evil. Is very, very good.
Yes, come on, Anderson.
You told me about that. I loved it. Yeah, I really, really liked it. Once again, though, didn't need the third act. However, the more I ruminate on it, the more I realized that.
What do you mean you didn't need a third act? What do you mean that's a whole kit and caboodle? That's the payoff, Anderson.
But I felt like the payoff was tacked on to make it a horror film, just to check that box. But the more I think about it, the more I realize I'm probably wrong, and I think that was the entire point of the movie. So watcher beware, though, with the Speak No Evil. It is a Dutch/Danish film. It involves 2 couples, both with young children, who meet on vacation, and then they rendezvous later in the film to get back together after meeting on vacation, and some very uncomfortable moments happen. It's like force majeure type uncomfortable moments, and then the third act or the final few scenes become a horror film, which is the payoff, which I had a hard time buying on initial viewing, Greg. The more I think about it, though, the more I realize that's the overreaching theme message of the film.
Well, Anderson, in fairness, though, you glommed on to the social anxiety, awkwardness part of it. Okay.
That's what I really liked.
Okay. And I'm thinking you're giving this 4 out of 5.
Yes. It's a solid 4, possibly 4.5-star movie. The more I think about it, the more I like it.
But then people who are sociopathic or violent in nature might like it more. You know, after watching this movie, I went on Google or BuzzFeed top 10 rock quarries. You know, in the world. So I was so excited to actually.
Tough to watch.
What tough to watch? Okay,
tough to watch. Yes.
Oh, okay. I think
I'm
very evil.
What's that?
I feel very evil compared to you because I glommed onto the horrific stuff.
It's funny. All I know about you, Greg, everything I know about you, you're such a sweet guy, and like you're squeamish about everything. It's kind of bizarre that you love your gore so much. I didn't see that coming.
Okay, well, I'm glad you like Speak No Evil. Any other groundswell as far as TFV? Has anyone else seen Speak No Evil, and you gotten any kind of dialogue back and forth regarding that movie?
Yeah, I had Bri. I had the Baldwin watch it, and we talked about it briefly last night. However, I was so grumpy and cranky and sick on last night's episode that we recorded. It's unfortunate. So whatever. I don't know if we did it justice. I was in a fog. I feel much better right now, Greg, talking to you. But maybe that's just because I'm talking to you.
Oh, thank you very much. Speak No Evil. So Anderson, 4 out of 5, and it's a solid recommendation from you.
Yes. Yeah. I think this is a very, very well-made movie, which is the social anxiety, the social awkwardness is Curb Your Enthusiasm level at times, and it's funny. Like I found myself laughing aloud, as with Piggy. I found myself laughing. There's some great moments in Piggy where she's hiding poorly, and she just immediately gets caught, which delighted me and made me laugh very hard. I think it was supposed to make me laugh, but yeah, Piggy's got some good moments. And Speak No Evil is the better of the two movies. I like that quite a bit. Please try and track that down. How about Barbarian? I keep hearing from everybody.
I haven't heard anything about it.
You
Yeah,
haven't heard anything about it?
I've heard that it's really good, but I mean, you and I, I mean, I don't know if you go to theaters every week. I'm still here in my little hovel, Anderson. I don't leave the house.
Pretty much every week.
That's me. It's me. Yeah. So I don't like to leave the house. But are you actually going to watch it, or in theaters, or
I'll watch it somehow. Maybe I can reach out to the distributor and see if they can get me a link, because I think it's starting to dry up at the theaters. But I know I got to see that Barbarian. It's been a long time since as many listeners have sent me emails telling me that I got to watch that movie. It's been a long time. I think the last time I got that many emails was maybe Dinner in America. I don't know.
Oh, Dinner in America, right.
Yeah,
And then I'm sure you get emails all the time. There's, Anderson, you got to see Smile, or Anderson, you've got to see the Hellraiser, and you don't have time for that, right? You don't have time to watch that stuff. Huh?
I heard your interview with the filmmakers. That was nice, Greg. But no, I have no interest in ever watching somebody remake something that I love from my childhood. There's just no need for it. I mean, I did watch Charlotte, the new Charlotte's Web, not too long ago, last week actually.
Oh, did you cry?
2006. Yeah, maybe I did. I cried no matter what, even though the 2006 version is not that great. But and then finally, Greg, this is not what we do here on the show at all, but what we do is talk about great movies, even if they are from the past. There is a movie called Turtles Can Fly.
Well, okay, I had no idea they could, and I had no idea but the movie existed.
It's an Iraqi/Iranian joint, is what they call it, and it takes place 2003. It's a pack of kids who are all refugees in that part of the land right before the shock and awe of George W. Bush in the U.S. Second invasion comes. And it's about this kid. His name's Satellite. And he's in charge of these kids. He's the only one who kind of knows how to set up satellite dishes and gets information from Fox News. And he knows how to speak enough English to hear it, to be able to help the elders that are in the town, as well as get the kids who are the refugees who have no way to fend for themselves or make money for themselves to he gets some jobs on mine sweeping, essentially cleaning up all the American mines that were left over from George H. Bush from his first invasion.
Yeah,
the movie is it's one of those films. It's almost 20 years old. I can't believe that this movie is not just a household, like everyone knows about it. Like it should have won best. It should have been up for Best Picture. I think might have been up for Best Foreign Language. I don't know. It's a remarkable movie. None of them are actors, yet they crush it as far as I could tell. They're all mostly there's a little blind toddler in there. There's a kid that can barely walk because his foot is like all askew. It could be birth defect. And then there's another kid who's missing arms, and it looks like he got them blown off at some point, and he really is missing his arms. It's a fantastic, heartbreaking, sobering look at war and children, but it's light enough that I can recommend it. When I say light enough, I mean the kid Satellite, who's the leader. He's just great, and it's an open window into a world that I think we all have an idea of, but we've never really experienced. I highly recommend this movie, and by the end, Satellite's all about, he's waiting for the Americans to come back, and he knows when the Americans get there, it's going to be all peachy and rosy, and there's commentary on that as well. It's just a great movie. Turtles Can Fly.
That's a perfect score for you, right?
Very dark, but this is a 5-star movie. It's one of the best movies I've never seen. I'm always looking for best movie I've never seen, right? And Turtles Can Fly is just a phenomenal movie. So,
how did you come by it? Just someone just recommended on your Patreon, or just a
we were assigned it. By Byron Klosterman assigned it to Brian and I, and it didn't have nearly the effect on Brian as it did me. So it's not for everybody. If you like, light casual movies, I want to recommend Turtles Can Fly. But
that's weird. You love it so much. I just wondered your reaction when Brian did not love it as much.
Oh, anger and fury, rage. It's regular. Yeah.
I'm gonna love it, right? I'm gonna probably love it. You think?
I think you'd love it. Might not be enough blood for you. I mean, it's not a bloodbath, but there are explosions and children die and whatnot. Yes.
Okay.
I like that part.
Thank you very much for that. Kind of, yeah. I'm gonna check out Turtles Can Fly. 5-star recommendation from Anderson Cowan. Okay, cool. You want to get into what's coming out this Friday, or do you have anything else on your mind that you're thinking about right now, or?
Yeah, you want to do the thing, the really, really fun thing where we pick. So this month we're doing 1955. Marty is my choice, which, by the way, another great movie that I've never seen. I have screened Marty and with Ernest Borgnine. My God, is that a good movie? And then you're doing The Man with the Golden Arm.
Yes, Sinatra.
Starring Frank Sinatra.
Mhm.
Otto Pettinger.
Yeah, yeah, Otto Preminger, which I heard he's one of the worst. I mean, just one of the strictest directors ever in cinema. So
for things, yes. So here we're going to pick what the next year is that we're going to be doing next year, and we're starting to get close to wrapping up
wow,
this exercise, Greg, where we land on a random year in between 1940 and 1989. Excuse me.
Yes. Yeah. No worries. Yeah.
We're gonna get to the last 2 weeks of October, which is the meat and potatoes of the episode.
The meat and potatoes. Yes. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Even if I only have 2 movies to talk about.
That's fine.
How many you got?
I have 2 as well. I have 2 for this week, and then maybe 1 for next week. Yeah.
That's 3, Greg.
3. Sorry, I'm not good at adding. You know, I'm just very
All right, I just landed in between 1940 and 1989, a year that we have not done yet, and it random number generator says.
Oh, 1989. That was Anderson. It's a very important year for me. I graduated. I'm class of 89 as far as high school goes. What's your class of what, Anderson? 91, right? Your class of 92. Oh, wow.
I failed
okay.
I didn't fail it. I had all C's, but they didn't like the way that I was conducting myself. So they suggested that I'd be helped. My dad was all about it because he thought I'd have a better chance of getting a scholarship for sports, because it's called redshirting, where they purposely keep a kid back so that he's like got an advantage, an extra year of development.
Wait, you had an extra year of school? I didn't know this.
Yeah, I was held back 7th grade. I had to do 7th grade twice.
Wow. Horrible.
I can tell you this, the second time around is a lot easier than the first time.
Was there a full year of just resentment and anger on that second year?
Definitely. The main reason was because my best friend at the time, Russell, I'm drawing a blank on his last name. I guess it's for the best, but what was his Russell? What the hell's his name?
Russell Banks.
Don't just start guessing names. Anyways, Russell and I were best friends in 7th grade, and it was kind of up to me. I could have fought really hard because I had all C's. It's not like I was failing out in school.
Mm-hmm.
But Russell and I thought it would be kind of fun to fail for whatever reason, like do 7th grade again and kind of, run the school. And so we decided, we're 7th graders. We both agreed upon it. I went through with it, and I came back, and I was in 7th grade again after the summer, and Russell was in 8th grade. I was very upset with Russell. He lied. He didn't follow through. But I can tell you this. I was running the school as a 7th grader. Because I was already kind of, like advanced a little bit by that. But when I did 7th grade, like there's none of the 8th graders that I was in class before with from the year before, like had anything to, they could not. I ran that school. I peaked early. There was one. And then 8th grade, I really ran the school when I was in 8th grade for that middle school. Kalina. Yeah. Crushed it.
Wow, that's very good. Very, very good. Yeah.
Is that good, Greg? I don't know if it's that great. Anyway,
I mean, you ran it. Yeah. 1980, class of 89. Okay, folks, and we're gonna. I'm sure we're gonna have some really good movies to pick from 1989. So, all right. So, movies that we are coming up for the week of October 21st. Anderson, what is your pick for this week?
Greg, here's what I say. I've talked plenty enough. I've talked too much, some might say, and I would like to hear from you.
What do you want to hear from me? I don't know if I have anything exciting to say. I will say this, though. There is a movie called Brothers Keeper. It comes out only in Los Angeles on October 14th. But there's a reason why there's a reason why I'm excited about Brothers Keeper. First of all, October 21st, this Friday, LA, but more dates to come in the coming weeks. What's interesting about this movie is it centers on you're mentioning turtles can fly, and it gives us a window to a part of civilization, part of the world we don't know too much about. I've never heard about the mountains of Eastern Anatolia, and that is the setting of Brothers Keeper, and it centers on a boarding school up in these mountains, and it centers on this guy named Yusuf, and I think he looks like maybe 9 or 10 years old, and he's very quiet, and the boarding school is run by really strict and obviously not very nurturing teachers and officials. Yusuf is having a problem because his best friend Memo is sick. He's sick. He is also very insecure, very scared of the night and all that stuff. But one morning, Memo wakes up sick, and Yusuf is in charge of actually taking care of Memo. The problem is There's really no one who's going to lend like a helping hand to Yusuf or especially Memo, who is sick. And the rest of the movie deals with, are they going to get Memo better? And it's also about the bureaucracy behind this boarding school. Now, boarding school set in the mountains, it might seem kind of boring as far as the plot goes, but I'm about 15 minutes in, and the way it's shot, it's just very tense, handheld, and the director really knows. Directed by Ferit Karahan. It's a Turkish and Kurdish film with English subtitles, and it's amazing. And also, here's my little bias: it's only 85 minutes, so automatically five out of 5 stars for me. But no, seriously, in all seriousness, 15 minutes in, and I'm really hooked in to this. After we actually record this interview, I'm going to finish this movie, Brother's Keeper. I'm going to actually, hopefully, maybe this is something you might want to see as well. It's fantastic so far.
Brothers Keeper is the name of that other movie from the 90s.
Documentary, right? Wasn't that
Yeah.
a document? Yeah, remember? Right? Good Anderson, see?
But is there any like connection there, or is it just the same name?
Zero, just the same name, just the same moniker. So that is that movie. So I'm so excited. In fact, I feel bad for missing Piggy. I'm gonna make sure you do not miss Brothers Keeper. And I have a feeling our buddies Eric and Bruce also love that movie as well. So.
All right, Greg. Well, before I get to my big sexy pick, which I think you're probably going to line up with me on, it's by a certain director named Martin McDonagh. This is his, what is it, his 4th feature film? Yes, he's done In Bruges, 7 Psychopaths, 3 Billboards outside Ebbing, Missouri, and now it's his 4th feature. But we'll talk about that in a second, because I wanted to talk to you about a listener of the program has a company, and he has sent us product, and you have not been able to pick up that product, but I think it could be a godsend, because this is a product called Magic Mind, and they come in little vials. Here's the box, Greg. Look at that box.
Looks very nice, very picturesque and tranquil.
Your box,
reflective,
with all of your I don't even want to call them samples. They're just they are what they are. They're little vials with some green juice with some great ingredients. And what it's supposed to do is supplement your coffee, if not replace your coffee. And the reason why this could be a godsend for me is I was getting to the point just over the last few months where I was drinking way too much coffee, to the point that I was having really hard time sleeping, and I was feeling my heart skip beats more often than not with the
That's
heart
happened
rate.
to me too. Yeah.
And I was reading articles about how coffee coupled with stress could be like one of the biggest, problems a human being can have. And I was definitely falling into that trap where I was having 4 or 5 cups a day. So I've already tried. I believe it was 6 vials where you drink it along with your coffee, or you replace your coffee in the morning with the Magic Mind product. And you can see right there. And
okay, cool.
Now we have a full regimen, which I will be drinking once I'm sick. I want to give it a fair shake. I want to see what this actually does, and it made me feel a little bit better when I did the initial run, but it was a small sample size. Now that I got the full box, and you have the full box, we will be doing this for 15 days in a row. I believe it is. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 15 vials. So yeah, we'll be doing it for just over 2 weeks. We'll be drinking it, and we will report back. I'm going to get Greg his box. We'll report back. And the next time we record one of these episodes in November. And I would like to tell you that if you would like to try it along with us, Greg, there's some talking points, and our listeners can get a little help on the
little promo code action with CinemAddicts, possibly.
Yeah, it was very nice of this listener to say, hey, I got this product, and we're buying sponsorship, and I'd love to be a part of your program. So I said, let's get some product. Let's see how this goes. So yeah, go to magicmind.co/cinematics. We'll get you there, and you can get 40% off your subscription for the next 10 days with our code CinemAddicts20. CinemAddicts20.
It'll be interesting to see if Magic Mind actually helps complement the coffee drinking, or maybe fully replace it, because I've had the point where I drink a lot of coffee myself, but then have you ever had that point where you drink so much you get the coffee headache? Or what's even worse is if you try to stay off coffee for a day or so, you get the coffee withdrawal, which gives you another headache. So
yeah, I cut way back, and I was down to I'm still at like 1/2 a cup a day now with a coffee. and I was like having withdrawals for the first time ever. I've never had caffeine withdrawals, and I was talking about it on the After Disaster. It was not good. I was short with Atticus, which I never am. I was losing my patience with him, and could not keep my eyes open. But I think I did the right thing by I not. I've only had 2 cups one day. I don't want to get into it, but I've cut way back, like 80% back on coffee. I still like a hot cup of Joe, at least a few sips in the morning. But I'm excited to get going with his magic mind.
Okay, very cool. I'm excited to actually try it, and hopefully my coffee intake will lower as well. And I'm scared of you now, Anderson, because please don't drink coffee in my presence. I don't want you to be short with me, sir. I'm gonna cower in fear, Anderson.
Never be short with you, Greg. So the final thing is your code will be valid forever as a 20% off for both one-time purchases and subscriptions. The first 10 days, it's 40% off if applied to the subscription. It stacks with subscription discount from the website for a total of 45% off. Hey, look at that. I didn't see that till just now. So yeah, if you would like to give this stuff a shot, now's a good time because Greg and I will be. It's got matcha in it and bacopa, maniari. Sure, I'm not saying that properly. Lion's mane, mushrooms, a lot of cool stuff that's supposed to work well for the body. So there's Magic Mind. All right.
Okay, very cool. So, yeah, I also received a Rotten Tomato Critics email for the application, and I was rejected. Unfortunately, we are unable to offer you tomato meter approval at this time. Our team has found the clips provided indicate that your primary output consists of features and or news stories, not reviews, which is wrong. They did not properly vet me. So,
oh wait, Rotten Tomatoes got something wrong? That's so weird.
The team at Rotten Tomatoes, but I'm okay with that. But yeah, I do.
Like
I do
a perfect Rotten Tomatoes critic.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, thank you. I do a podcast called what? CinemAddicts. Find your film. I do a lot of reviews, but in fairness to them, Rotten Tomatoes, I do a lot of interviews as well. So maybe next time, I
think they're worried you're be tainted.
Yeah, I am. Well, no, don't they should not be worried, Anderson, because I am tainted. I'm very tainted. But hopefully, Anderson, you might be getting an email very soon from the people at Rotten Tomatoes. And my guess, Anderson Cowan, is you will be approved.
I do not believe so, Greg.
I believe. I bet you $1. Can I bet you $1? A Don Amici Ralph Bellamy Trading Places $1 that you're gonna get a Rotten Tomatoes approval? $1?
Are they trying to like add to the stables or something?
Which one?
Rotten Tomatoes.
Rotten Tomatoes. I don't know. Yeah, remember we applied. You and I applied it like back in March, and I just
applied for Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, remember you applied for Rotten Anderson.
I don't really remember.
Anderson, you really do need Magic Mind because it's going to help you. If you and I actually had Magic Mind around March when you told me to apply,
was it for a lap? Oh, I remember telling you to apply. Yeah, but I didn't realize. I don't know if I did apply. I don't think I did.
Of course, yes, you did. Oh, you did. Wow, Anderson. Okay.
I don't know. I guess we'll find out. I didn't get any kind of notification, so. If it's anything like film festivals, they let the people know that got the approval before they let the people know that they didn't. So I would imagine I did not apply. And if I did, it would be for one reason and one reason only, and that is to go on the Film Vault and tell Brian, who loves his Rotten Tomatoes so much, that he has to contend with me now. That would be the only reason why I would want to be a Rotten Tomatoes critic.
Well, you know what? Look, I am actually incensed now. I'm gonna create my own site. It's gonna be called Rotten Apples instead of Twitter. And there's Parler, right? I'm gonna only tainted film critics will be members, and I think I'll be the head of that organization.
Isn't Parler that political one?
Yeah, Parler's a political one, right?
I forgot all about Parler. I haven't
remember
heard Parler in quite some time. Yeah.
Yeah. So very interesting.
Oh, you know what's good here?
Yes, sir.
And this is like an unofficial plug. This is something that I'm using. And once again, the creator of this one came to me, but this is very, very movie related. And I think that our listeners, if you haven't already heard me talk about it a little bit, there's an app called Relay. It's a social media app, Relay, Reelay. It's on OS. I don't know if it's on Android, but if you got an Apple iPhone over there, it's very, very new. It's in beta, but anyone can join, and it just allows you. It's all movie related. You look up any movie you want. Sometimes there's video reviews. Sometimes there's no reviews yet. You can leave a 30-second video review of any movie you like on there, and you can create groups. You can follow people who you like their taste in movies and get quick little hits. Like, what are their thoughts on Smile? 30-second little video reviews from the users. And everyone's super cool over there. I haven't run into anyone who's snobby or fancies themselves a cinephile, but they're all insightful for the most part. And it's a good little app. I'm working with the guy that created it, but I think that it would be I think I could see you really liking it, Greg. It's called Relay.
Really, I will download it on my app store and give you my thoughts on it. That's pretty cool.
Yes, relay. All right, cool.
Relay.
And
All
it's
right,
and it's
cool.
early. Like if you get in there early, like anything else, like it's I think this thing is going to grow and hopefully become something. It's a great little one stop shop for getting quick little user video movie reviews rather than reading. If you're like me and you don't like to read, I like to listen to them when I'm on the road. I put a playlist on and I'm just hearing all these people give their take on movies.
Yeah, okay. So really, I'm gonna check it out. Hopefully, it might be, look, Letterboxd has its own thing. And I rarely do that stuff, but since you recommended, I'm gonna give Relay a shot. Now, for closing out, October 28th,
No,
Anderson.
no, no. We did. I started to talk a little bit about the Banshee. I didn't even say the title, Brian. The Banshees of Inisherin. I believe
Oh yeah, yeah. My bad, my bad.
the Banshees of Inisherin is the Martin McDonagh's fourth movie, not to be confused with his brother, who also makes very, very interesting movies, right?
Mm,
Calvary. He did a movie this year. His brother did a movie this year,
right, the
which I have
Forgotten,
not seen. The
the
Forgotten,
Forgotten, or the Forgiven, or something like that.
The Forgiven.
The
Yes,
Forgiven. Yeah, that was
which
good. I liked it.
I've heard mixed reviews. But Martin McDonagh, his brother, it makes more, I guess, box office friendly movies, right? Because everyone's heard of In Bruges, everyone's heard of Seven
Sure.
Psychopaths, everyone's heard of Three Billboards, obviously. And this one is called The Banshees of Inisherin. It stars Colin Farrell, Brendan Gleeson. And if you've seen the trailer, have you, Greg?
No, I haven't because I'm so excited. I'm gonna watch this. I didn't want to get spoiled, but it looks good. The trailer looks good.
Yeah, it's high concept. It's Brendan Gleeson's character has decided that he doesn't want to be friends with Colin Farrell anymore. Colin Farrell's character, and it's on this little small, I believe, island in Ireland, much like the backdrop for Calvary, which also starred Brendan Gleeson, made by Martin McDonough's brother. What's his brother's name? Like Chris McDonough. What's his name?
Yeah, yeah.
What's his
I was
name?
gonna say, I was gonna say Neil McDonough, but that's the guy from Band of Brothers. But it's one of the McDonoughs. I'll look it up.
Can you look up
Yeah,
Calvary?
sure. Yeah, sure. I'll look up Cavalry right now. Is it
So
Cavalry or Cavalry? Yeah,
Calvary, CAL. So
yeah.
that's the long and the short of it. It's Brendan Gleeson's just saying, look, stay away from me. I don't want to be your friends anymore. And Colin Farrell going and being real needy, saying, but why? Why can't we be friends anymore? And I've been in that exact position on the Brendan
John
Gleeson
Michael
side.
McDonough.
John Michael McDonough is his
John
brother.
Michael.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who did Calvary? He did Forgiven. You have anything else there in front of you, Greg?
Yeah, he did. What's that movie where it's where there's some violence on it. It's what was it called? It was War on Everyone. That's it. That's the movie. And he did The Guard. He
The
did The
Guard.
Guard
Yeah, he
too.
did The Guard. Which people love the Guard. I still have not seen a good copy of the Guard. The one that I saw was 4:3, and it was
Mm,
cropped and it was ugly. It was sometimes, especially back in the day, Prime didn't care. They'd put up like really bad transfers on Prime, and that's the one that I saw of the Guard. The Guard. Anyways, not important. We're
not
talking about
important.
the Banshees of Inisherin. I have high hopes for this. It's a comedy drama, and I love those two actors. I love Colin Farrell. Love Brendan Gleeson. Like the director quite a bit, so we'll see. Maybe this is one of those movies that's fantastic. I don't know if it's an important movie, important enough to be, a best picture type movie, but who knows? The fact that they had Brendan Gleeson hosting Saturday Night Live to promote this movie a couple weeks ago
Yeah,
is very
that was a
promising.
surprise.
They're,
Yeah.
they're throwing a lot of PR at this movie, which seems like it's the kind of movie that 5-10 years ago would have just kind of come and went, would have played at a few like art house theaters, but they're putting a lot of energy into this movie. That said, I got to drive like 5 towns over to see it next week when it comes out. It's not playing by me, but I will be seeing this one opening weekend. Very excited about the Banshees of Inisherin. Have you ever done that,
Yeah.
Greg, where you realize that one of your friends, especially when you're younger, you have friends that are funny, but they're not good people, and then you get to a place in your life where you're like, I don't care how funny you are, I just can't be friends with you anymore. Have you been there? Or friends are
Look,
too needy, so you're just like, I just can't do it anymore.
I don't know Anderson because you, Bruce, and Eric are my only friends, and
You've
because we do
never
podcasts.
broken up with a friend.
No, oh yeah, I break 'em- I break up pretty easily. I break up with so many friends. I had 20 great friends coming out of high school,
Uh-huh.
and now I don't have it.
Well, you don't have any of them. You just
I
stayed.
mean, no, there's maybe one or two, but and that's just because they call me once in a while. So, yeah, see how horrible I am,
Banshees.
Anderson. See,
Yes, it's very
Banshees.
sad. Very sad.
Now, yes. But anyways, Anderson, we'll be fine. We're gonna you and I will be fine. We've known each other almost 30 years right now, so we're good. Now, October 28th, Anderson. Do you have a sexy pick for the last week of the month?
don't know if I'd call it sexy. I mean, I just did a bunch of talking. Call Jane looks like it's the only interesting movie. I don't know if I'll be seeing this unless it breaks free. But starring Elizabeth Banks and Sigourney Weaver, and it's about a married woman with an unwanted pregnancy, and she lives in a time in America when she can't get a legal abortion. So she works with a group of suburban women to find help that doesn't involve throwing yourself downstairs. So obviously, this is very timely. It's a movie that will definitely get some traction, I would imagine, and I would bet that it's good. Directed by Phyllis Nagy. Greg, I don't know if you're familiar with Phyllis Nagy. She wrote Carol, which was a critic darling.
That was my favorite film that year. Your favorite film.
You are a critic. She also wrote Mrs. Harris, and she directed the Mrs. Harris TV movie. Not Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris. This is different. So,
the movie Mrs. Harris. Okay, interesting.
But yeah, she's the late. She wrote Carol, which people loved, which was Todd Haynes. I miss that Todd Haynes. We need to get more Todd Haynes. The last Todd Haynes movie I saw was a Velvet Underground documentary last year.
Oh, was that any good? Velvet. Wait. Velvet Goldmine documentary.
Velvet Underground. It was
Velvet
all
Underground.
actual.
Okay, got it. Now, that's
like Lou Reed and all those guys.
All right. And you don't like it because you're not a fan of the group?
I mean, I don't dislike. I just it was he did a lot of split screen stuff, and it was very artsy, even for my taste, right? And the barrier to entry there, a bit immersive, and I don't know if I wanted to spend that much time with those people. You know what I mean? But the music was good and it was interesting. But I would have liked for me personally, I would have liked a cleaner, like narrated, like, step by step. And then this year this band broke free. And then this year, this kind of drama, but no, this was kind of like made for people who already like Velvet Underground. Kind of like what I heard the David Bowie movie documentary was this year, where it's like, you got to really love David Bowie and watch that documentary. You're not going to learn a whole lot necessarily. It's just kind of like a celebration of him.
It kind of reminds me of when several years ago, you and I reviewed the Jim Jarmusch film. I believe it was called, it's not Gimme Shelter, but it's on the Stooges. Basically the Stooges documentary. And back then I was a huge Stooges fan, and I thought it was a little bit boring.
I never saw it.
Really? We never covered it? Oh, that's weird. Yeah.
Never.
You being a Jim Jarmusch fan. I mean, I remember when we were in our 20s and 30s, you would always go crazy in the screening rooms and Greg, he does another little fade to black thing. I love it. You love those for the transitions.
No, I don't. No, Greg, you're completely confused. No,
I was the one, right? I was the one who loved those.
It was Dead Man was the last movie that I watched of his excitedly. And you and I both had a long discussion about it right after we both saw it. And I was telling you that I just couldn't take the fades to black. And it was one fade to black after the next.
Okay.
Maybe I can bring. You know what my problem is? I'm not a giant Johnny Depp fan, and he was the vehicle. That was a vehicle for him.
Patterson. That's all I have to say, Anderson.
I've heard things. He's a bus driver.
You've heard what do you mean you've heard things? You love it? Don't you love it?
I've heard things. I need to see it.
Okay, basically Jim Jarmusch does PG-rated Charles Bukowski, and that's a good thing. So
wait, Patterson is what?
Patterson is kind of like a Charles Bukowski novel without all the horse tracks and the sex and all that stuff. And all the drinking. It's just about
everything. It is Charles Bukowski.
No, because Patterson's about the life of a writer in Paterson, New Jersey. Okay. I don't know if the transitions will get you frustrated, but I think it's a very beautiful. And like you said, you've heard things. Some of the people who email you, hopefully some people will tell you to watch it. It's a beautiful, quiet movie. So I've got a really good movie for the last week of the month. Anderson might be better than Call Jane. Call Jane is a movie that seems like I don't want to watch it, but there is a movie called Holy Spider. Okay, Holy Spider, and I'm going to tell you why this is interesting. Centers on a female journalist named Rahimi, and she travels to the holy city of, let's see, what is it called? Mashhad in Iran. Okay, and she's trying to track down a serial killer who believes he is doing the work of God by murdering sex workers. So it's based on the horrific true story of serial killer Saeed Hanai. I'm mispronouncing it. And the writer-director is Ali Abbasi. Ali Abbasi.
Light and fun.
No, but Ali Abbasi directed several years ago a movie that I hear is really interesting called Border. So there's a little bit of critical acclaim behind this movie. Now here's why Holy Spider, not only is it an interesting plot based on a true story, at this year's Fantastic Fest, Ali Abbasi won the Best Director and also the Best Actress winner at this year's Cannes Film Festival, or like you say, Cannes, was Zar Amir Ebrahimi. So, Cannes winner and Fantastic Fest winner. So, Holy Spider releasing on October 28th. And lastly, it is the official Danish submission for the 95th Academy Awards.
Danish?
There's a lot of yeah. I don't know why. I don't know why Danish, but anyways, it is getting a lot of heat.
I think Ali Abbasi is Danish. I think that's probably why. Because I know Border was a Danish film, and I can tell you that Border is not for everybody. I saw it. I will never forget Border, and I really liked a lot of what Border had to offer. I liked a whole lot of what Border had to offer.
But okay. So that said, you were disappointed with something about it, but it wasn't a waste of time for you to watch.
No, I don't want to say disappointed. It's just it's a movie that's out there in the storyline. It's it looks great. It's not going over the top, trying to be artsy. And I don't like independent movies that try to be poetic or meditative. It's not that at all. It's a story that's easy to follow. Yet it's about a subhuman TSA agent, right? And she smells things really well, so she's almost like a dog, and she's got like Cro-Magnon stuff going on, and then she meets someone. It's kind of like a coming of age story, and there's a sex scene that you'll never ever forget. Border is a very, very interesting movie that I think it was up for best foreign language, best international film, as they call it now.
Yeah, but like you said, there were some people who really did not like it. But it's a movie that's, I remember several years ago it was talked about a lot. Some people really loved it. So
yeah, 2018 movie Border was, and either you're gonna love it.
Okay, so
it was nominated for one Oscar, and that Oscar that it was nominated for, Best Achievement in Makeup and Hairstyle. Oh, come on now. Best International Film is what I would imagine it be, but it was not nominated for that. Anyhow, all right. Well, Greg, anything else? Thanks for that Holy Spider. Like, that one eluded me, so that's
Holy Spider. I'm doing the magic trick right now. I'm going to forward you the contact for you and the bald one to.
The bald one can suck it. I would like to see this Holy Spider, and I did see like the title, but I just skipped it because I thought it was the latest MCU character, and I thought that it was the like a priest that became Spider-Man, because they have all the different iterations of Spider-Man. I thought this was a religious Spider-Man.
Maybe it could have been a religious Spider-Man. I feel I'm remiss to say before we leave, can we leave on a good note, Anderson? Can we say that the Dwayne Johnson film Black Adam is coming out on Friday? You look at watch that.
Why did you just say like the largest oxymoron that's ever been uttered on this program?
You gotta travel five.
With a good thing, Black Adam's coming out this Friday.
I'm just saying, I gotta travel 5 towns to watch Black Adam.
I don't have to. It's playing like on every street corner because it's Black Adam.
Are you happy because of that?
No, Greg, I'm not.
I'm just saying. Look, because you have your options.
It is what it is, right? Without these GD movies. And I can still hate on DC because they have not made anything. There's been one movie in the last 5 years that I've appreciated and enjoyed from DC. One movie. You know what?
What's Suicide Squad? What?
That's it. That's the only movie that I actually truly enjoyed. That's DC in the last 5+ years, right?
David Ayer's Suicide Squad. That's the one that
you're gonna die. No! I'm sick, buddy. Don't make me so upset.
Okay.
Suicide Squad is the David Ayers movie that I was forced to see, and it was brutal. One of the worst movies I've ever. Oh, Greg, look what you did! You made me cut.
Don't worry, I'll bleep it. I'll cut it. It's good. We're good.
It's this love-hate relationship because I know that without these guys flying around and being superheroes that everyone just can't wait to watch people fly around with capes on, more theaters would have closed by now. And they're the only things keeping the theaters open. My argument there is like if it wasn't capes, it'd be something else, like an alternate universe. Maybe like Porky's 10 is what gets people to go to the theaters. Like, who knows? It is going to be some kind of lower common denominator. It's going to get everyone to theaters. It doesn't mean that I can't be furious about it and annoyed that Black Adam's going to come out, swallow a bunch of theaters, like as in like play in so many theaters that like smaller movies. Like I got to travel five towns over. I got to go to Century City, Greg, to watch the Banshees of Inisherin. While I'm driving from here to go see the Banshees of Inisherin, I'm going to probably pass, I don't know, 15 to 20 theaters that will be playing Black Adam, which is a far superior inferior movie. Look at that Freudian slip. Superior. Maybe I do love it. Oh, Christ, Greg. People are just in there slack-jawed, like just shoving popcorn in their mouth. Black Adam strong. Shut up!
Really? Okay. Well, I guess you're not going to see it this week. I'm not going to see it either. But who knows? One day, Anderson, maybe we might be surprised at how good these movies. Which one?
Love it. You'll see it and give it like 4.5 stars or something. We all know.
Yeah, I will. Maybe 5, folks. Go. So I guess the thing before we sign off, Anderson, the thing that we should learn is don't worry about the Banshees or the Borders of the World. Go see. Go to your local Cineplex, Anderson.
Anything, yes. Please support us, Little Black Adam, the little movie that could.
Movie that could. All right, guys. We will see you next month. Hopefully, we'll get some up to date on how good the stuff is. And Anderson, anything else before we go?
He's a superhero. That's sad. He's so angry, Greg, that he kills people. He's a superhero that kills people. Isn't that crazy?
He's an anti-hero. I hope we'll see you guys next time here on Cinema.
That he switches his tune by the end. All right, 1955 this month. We'll be recording that next week, talking about the year that was 1955, the best films of the year, the biggest movies that were at the box office that year, as well as the 2 picks, which is The Man with the Golden Arm and Marty. Marty, first time I ever heard about Marty was when I watched that movie Quiz Show back in the day, Greg. Remember Marty, an integral part of Quiz Show.
I'm glad that you really enjoyed Marty, and I guess you saw The Man with the Golden Arm, so I apologize for that, but I can't wait till
I'm going to rewatch it, though, just for you, Greg.
Thank you so much.
I saw it less than a year ago, but I will be watching The Man with the Golden Arm. It's a movie that takes place in 1955 about a heroin addict, which is kind of interesting because, you don't think about heroin being like that prevalent back then, but it was. And Marty is about Ernest Borgnine being an unattractive, pudgy, simple man, butcher who has a hard time finding love in his Italian family, especially his mother really wants him to find love, or does she? So that's Marty. You've seen Marty, yeah?
No, I haven't seen it. It's directed by Martin Ritt. I've been meaning to see it since I was 12 or 13, first time I even heard about it. Patty Chayefsky, right? So I'm excited.
Yeah, she's good. And then next month, 1989 will be the movie. It's going to be a challenge, but I probably will not pick a Tom Cruise movie. Probably. With all the right movies on it.
All right, guys. We'll see you. Miss you, Anderson.
Bye.